The current state of the FGC 2024. Is it all bad? Okay, let's see where they go with this. I don't know if it's about games, if it's about the people.
When you look at any of the main games right now, whether it's Street Fighter 6, whether it's Tekken 8, whether it's Guilty Gear Strive, whether it's Dragon Ball FighterZ, it seems like everybody has negative things to say about it.
Okay, I'm sorry, Acoustics. I like you. I fucking hate when say shit like this, bro. I actually despise shit like this. This shit makes me pain. I actually have problems finding the words I want to say of how much physical pain hearing and reading shit like this causes me. Like, and we're not even 18 seconds into the video. I actually saw the tweet and I got the fingers ready and I was like, no, you know what? Let's leave that there. I don't on December 28th, 2024, I don't have to engage with this. But on December 31st, 2024, I had no choice because it's in this video.
It's really hard almost to go online and see anybody talking about anything positive as far as like what's going on in the FGC. Now, you do have some things that are going on right now, a few things that are positive. For example, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite and Beyond has come out.
I haven't touched this, by the way, but this type of thing is I guess good. I have a very, by the way, mixed feeling about like community versions of games. I think it's most okay for games that are like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite basically died. I mean, I'm sure people play the actual game, but this game never really got like a chance. So like in this case, I'm like, that's fine, I feel like. Or like PM is another one where like Brawl aside, people say play PM, they like, you know, I think it's fine. Apparently there's a Strive community edition and I have like a weird feeling, like I don't know, when the game's active I have weird feelings about like community versions of games, even when I don't agree with how some balance changes are going, you know. It's kind of a, maybe it's a me thing. It's something I have to think about more.
And also you have anticipated games in the future, which we'll talk about later. Fate of Fury, City of the Wolves, and the new Virtual Fighter
2025, right? Do we have Ronaldo footage yet of him? The only reasons you're gonna see me boot up, I have 3 reasons. 1, I've never played an SNK game like that. 2, Ronaldo. 3, Mai. Those are my mains, Ronaldo and Mai. I'm trying to make money on YouTube, bro.
So first we have Street Fighter 6. Now Street Fighter 6, as far as like the big 3 of the fighting games, seems like is in the best position. When I say big 3, we talking about Street Fighter, Tekken, and Mortal Kombat. A lot of people feel like it's just totally unfair, it's unbalanced, it's broken. And people like Mental RD has actually come out and said he thinks Street Fighter 6 is just a game that is very random, that you really can't, from tournament to tournament, decide who is possibly going to win. Anybody could beat almost anybody.
The Wheel of Fate is turning. The Wheel of Fate is turning. Unfortunately, every new game is random the first year. That's what they always say all the time. So what happens is, and somehow I feel like we are talking about this again, but what happens is a new game comes out, everyone is hyped, just some top players come out really quick, some stuff happens, a few months later, people are like, this is broken, this system's annoying, this is annoying, da-da-da, do you really want to do this is fake, the old game was better, the old game that's on version like 18 is better than new version like 1.1 or whatever. Then people start talking about how the game's random, essentially, and this is probably going to be basically the theme of my response of what I'm hearing about, and this is what I wanted to say about like the tweet too at the beginning. And of course, don't like fucking meme acoustics or whatever, right? Like it's fine, just leave it. Honestly, it's a discussion that should just be left. But basically, a unique thing about this genre is like the 1v1 versus like community type things is like you just get to choose with what you want to engage with. So like if you like SF6, just boot up SF6. Like just because meta is like the game's random doesn't mean that you don't get to have fun playing the game. Or like if a top GG player is like, this game is random and it's balanced terribly and all this shit, but you like the game, you have fun playing like Testament or Bridget or Soul or Pot, you just boot up and play it, right? It's just like engage with what you want to engage. Like if you're annoyed by like online discourse, if you have a friend group to play fighting games with, it makes it so much more like not even tolerable, just enjoyable. Because you're not like sipping the sauce basically of like what everyone's bitching about all the time.
Putting up old Street Fighter clips, wondering if they're going to reinstall the game. But also another issue with Street Fighter 6 is lack of content. It seems like they're mostly just focused on Battle Hub when it comes.
They're talking about in-game. Yeah. This game, my perception of Street Fighter 6 is that the content is really carried by like content creators, like extra, like between like all the stuff they're doing in Japan and Sage M Slam and stuff. Like, it seems like they're not doing that much. I think other games are kind of slow about it too, but they were better about this in Street Fighter 5 for sure.
Is this something that you can stick with for the future? If not, it might just have to be a game that you drop. Or if you're a pro player and you're trying to do this for a living, it might just be one of them things like, hey, I might not like the game, but you know, this is how I make my living.
There's a game that's this for me. Anyone know what song this is? I can hear that loudest menu ping in my head. quite literally, I think okay, Dragon Ball comes out in January, right? January 2018. I think like right before Kizzy tells me to play Trunks again, I'm like, dude, this game is so bad. I was like, this game is so bad. Kizzy's like, dude, no. He was like, you're the one who was like, well, the next IP anime fighter we all have to play because we've all been waiting for it. You can't fucking quit. There's probably you just didn't find the right character. You should try Trunks again. And now I'm here, literally.
Then we have Tekken 8. Now, it seems like Tekken 8 kind of came out of the gate weird, but he still talks about to this day how Tekken 7 is a better game and how he wished things were back the way it was with Tekken. It's understandable because for so long, Tekken was known as a game to where you have legacy skill. The things that you learned from the previous game could carry over.
Question about Tekken. Who are the new Tekken rising stars? Does Tekken have a player right now that is performing well or winning that people are like, this motherfucker spawned to Tekken and Tekken 8? Is there one? Cause I know there's one in 7. There's one specific person I know in 7 that they're like, this motherfucker spawned. Nobody, right? Nobody? Literally no one. We go next.
Now, aside from the issues that they've had with the gameplay, they've had some issues just out of the gate with the game as far as like DLC. The first season of Tekken 8, a lot of people think was lackluster because basically they got characters that they feel like should have been in the base roster.
Besides Clive, right? Lydia's new or no? I always forget. I know Eddie got the esports haircut, bro. Dude, real question. How hard is it to do the esports haircut as a black person? I high key want to do it once for the memes. Esports, everyone calls it the Killmonger hairdo. I call it the esports haircut because I actually shouldn't call it the esports haircut, but like it's like every black character, male character in a video game has that haircut. Pretty much confirmed that people are not enjoying Tekken 8, including casuals and competitors. The only people defending this game are the Ball TK players with the sponsors or aspiring Namco kiss-ups with hopes to get in the inner circle. Whack. Hold. Okay. I can't speak on Tekken stuff that's going on. I can't really speak on Tekken stuff that's going on. I mean, I feel like my only like stat is when like the Tekken people are like, this game is random, and we're like, who is a new player that spawned in this game because of the game being random, and y'all were like nobody. Then I was like, there we go, we just go next. TBFGC. You got to show. Okay. Let's find out. I'm curious. So I went to quote tweets first. Quote tweets. This is fucking. I can't lie. These tweets feel silly, eligible, dramatic. The only people like this game are Namco kiss-ups. Your opinions are not the law. The game can have issues, still be fun to people. This is probably the biggest thing. This is like, if you get anything from this video, it should be this. You're like, the game can have issues and still be fun. I don't think most people do this, but this is a way you can look at a fighting game. Basically, while you're playing a fighting game, you're building up to whatever the last version is going to be. The last version of the game is going to be the one that everyone remembers for the most part, outside of like content creators like myself doing like retrospectives on the game. Everything they do is building up to the last version of the game and the version that people are going to remember, right? For Street Fighter 4, the main version that people remember is Ultra. For Street Fighter 5, it's going to be last season. For Tekken, last season. For Dragon Ball, pre-lab coat is 3.5. So that after lab coat, the game changes a lot, right? While they're doing that, the last version of the game is gonna be like, is the game good or not? Most of the main ones we talk about and still play are good games, even if you have complaints about it. On the way there, there's always gonna be problems. There's no perfect fighting game. BB, for example, many people who some are supposedly longtime community members who are like, I always loved BlazBlue stuff. Many people, many, you gotta remember, I was one of the best BlazBlue players in this country. many people did not fuck with BB. Many people did not fuck with BB. BB was always dollar store GG to me. Exactly what I'm talking about. If you're playing a game like SF6, Tekken 8, Mortal Kombat 1, and like Strive, Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising, KOF, any of those, right? You are playing basically a work in progress, right? And it's just like, do you enjoy it or not? And if you're a person who like watches like my stuff, for example, because you want to improve at fighting games, you want to learn about fighting games and things like that, then probably your main enjoyment out of the game comes from the character you enjoy playing, right? So you could have fun playing a character and doing stuff with your character and not like stuff about the game, either other characters, which is the most common, systems, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Until we get to whatever the final culmination of everything ends up being. Sometimes, by the way, they knock it out the park on the first try, aka Persona 4 Arena, but
Gear to Gear Strive. You have people out right now.
You know what type of video will not post my tweets though? This one. I mean, usually 11 and I, we don't agree on everything, and our perspectives with stuff are not the same. He's entitled to feel how he feels, of course, right? But they're never gonna have an LK tweet about Strive on here, dude.
Who is basically saying that Gear to Gear Strive at this state, at this patch, he doesn't like. It isn't playable.
Who cares how much he likes the game? Who cares how much I like the game? It's how much you like the game. You, the viewer, likes the game.
The producer of Gear to Gear Strive actually came out and apologized for the recent patch of the game and how it didn't meet players' expectations.
So, wait, let me let him cook.
But then even the patch that came out to fix the patch that they didn't like came out on December 23rd, and people are still saying that it was terrible.
The main thing about the Strive 4.0, outside of some balanced things, because I agree, by the way, my number one complaint about this game right now is probably I feel like they remove counterplay too much from characters. It's probably like my number one complaint. The main thing about 4.0 was just there was a ton of bugs, I think. And so that's probably, so let's say, okay, bugs, balance, because Ram Gold Lewis, and then the developers' communicated intentions did not match what we got. What do I mean? So this 4.0 season 4 has two main goals, right? Giving characters more unique identity and lowering the damage. Giving characters more unique identity. What does that mean? Statements like, why play Milia when you can play Chip? Why play Testament when you can play Ram? Like that shit, they don't want. Like they want characters to really express, for lack of a better word, express themselves in a really specific way and aim for specific things. That's probably the best way to put it. The second thing they really fucked up on, which is they wanted to lower the damage. And you read the patch notes and you're like, okay, they upped everyone's defense. That's great, right? And then, okay, I guess it makes sense that they upped damage of some moves to compensate for people getting a lot more HP. And then you play the game and you're like, why the fuck did I just do 80% with Mei off of like one counter hit? Those are like the big complaints for it. Bugs, and then the devs communicate stuff and it doesn't line up with what we actually thought. But basically, this patch, to me, feels like what they wanted to release, basically, if that makes sense. And then it's extremely likely, in my opinion, that we're going to be on this patch until EVO, and that's another reason why other high-level players are complaining about the current version of the game. They're definitely not updating the game before the tour, so if there's a time they update the game, it has to be like immediately after the tour finals or right after EVO Japan. So it's just very awkward, right? But that doesn't affect most of the people. Basically, that doesn't affect anybody besides the people who have goals of making tour finals or trying to win EVO. Those are the main people it affects.
Then you have Mortal Kombat 1, which at this point, we talked about Mortal Kombat so
this is the only game I don't know shit about. I just know people shit on this game, by the way.
Partially, not just like we here at TVFGC, but just the community and all that. It really just doesn't feel good to just even go over again what's going on with MK1. Have you been in the scene?
I haven't been in the scene. You must tell me, because I'm not in the scene. Please, I beg.
You basically know that Mortal Kombat 1 is in a position right now where everybody is just hating it. It seems like from all sides from its release.
By the way, I don't know why. I'm quite serious. I literally don't know why. I just hear people say this game is super shit. Like, okay, when people say like Strive sucks and stuff, like I see people boot up anyway. But like what, like MK is like people don't boot up. I don't know.
It's so bad at a state right now that they even came out and just said they're basically done even supporting the game. The rumors are out right now that they're done supporting the game, and it seems like NetherRealm Studios isn't doing anything to combat against the rumors. So it's seeming like that's where we are with Mortal Kombat, that they're basically just looking on to the next game. So hopefully this isn't RIP, but it's seeming like we might as well say RIP.
And so by the way, when people do the early RIP, like I saw Max say that they were rushed before the game was ready because WB. Well, they canceling the season pass because it sucks. I don't know. I heard the thing about the canceling the season pass.
I'm gonna give.
This is another game that how do you fumble that DLC? Because they have so many guest characters that are popular, but like people like the game sucks. It's pain.
Then even lately you have Dragon Ball FighterZ now. Dragon Ball FighterZ, when this last patch came out, everybody was waiting for rollback. It took so long for them to finally get that rollback update. And then when it finally came out, the game was broken. The game was like just messed up.
I remember
glitches everywhere. I mean, it was to a point to where it was just almost like cartoony.
I don't know if they're gonna mention it, but like to my memory, it's like different groups of people have worked on Dragon Ball FighterZ over the years. So like once they were like, I think a lot of people use 3.5 as the line of change, not just basically because of lab code, because Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta was supposed to be last character. That was it. Right? And then people were like, man, like what's gonna happen in the game now? Is the game done? Are we just gonna keep grinding? Like what's good? And then they tossed in lab coat, and lab coat has the good old she has everything lol. People complained. I was not on the game to save it. And then after the lab coat came out, I feel like after the lab coat came out specifically, like it just seemed like every patch was hyper memes compared to before, where like if you played from like the beginning, they were reasonably careful with balance changes and stuff. Reasonably careful. They didn't start like going ham with like the fuck it patches until like after lab code came out.
Everybody basically was just saying the game was basically dead. Like that was it. It was over. We might as well either be looking for another Dragon Ball FighterZ or everybody just go to Dragon Ball.
Oh, and side note by the way, because you know it's like community patch to go back to 3.5. You could I don't know if it's up, but you could basically play any version of Dragon Ball FighterZ that you want, like season 1 with Broken Gohan, season 2 GT. You can play any version that you want.
But the scene has come out now and basically dropped a mod that basically takes you back to the 3.5 update to where you can play an older version of Dragon Ball FighterZ.
When they say 3.5, they're talking about after Roshi got nerfed the second time, right? Because if so, that's not peak Dragon Ball, bro.
Fate of Fury City of the Wolves is supposed to come out, which everybody's excited for. There's a lot of hype behind this.
I will say, I tried this game at EVO. I thought it was cool, but I think some self-reporting is going to be going on about this game because this game is going to make some people super mad. Okay, like, I'm not an expert, but basically, like, one of the main things about the game is like you have to like basically instant block from neutral, and if you can do it consistently, then like it's actually really hard to do offense. So you kind of like, I'm not gonna say you hop around basically, but obviously that game has like pretty involved neutral because of this mechanic. But when you're fucking starting, if you're not ready to deal with this is gonna like, I predict one of the big complaints from tourists, I'm gonna say tourists, is gonna be about Just Defend. Because there's only a couple ways it can go. It's the old window, which y'all saying it was bigger, right? And people complain about it being too good. 2, they strivify it and they make it really small, and people say it's impossible to do it. It's too hard, and people don't do it for like a year. They do something in the middle, and then new players complain anyway. These are the 3 options.
So a lot of people are looking at this game, 1 saying it's beautiful, 2, the systems and the combats and the meta is looking pretty cool. So we're hyped to get our hands on this game.
And by the way, I am looking forward to trying an SNK game, for real. However, I am ready for what people are about to say about this game. I'm already ready.
But with Fate of Fury City of the Wolves, it looking like it might come out with an impact that it actually might do very, very well in the FGC, better than KOF 15. Now going to the 3D, you know Virtual Fighter 6 has basically been announced. Tekken has held the reins for a long time, and it basically lived or died with Tekken. But with Tekken 8 in a position right now where people are just super polarized over that game, It's great to have Virtua Fighter 6 come out and add some variety into the scene.
I don't know shit about Virtua Fighter, so no comment. Absolutely no comment. I probably should look up some, if there's like a content creator who does stuff for Virtua Fighter that's like trusted, look at some of their stuff. When BF6 comes out, people are gonna complain and pretend it ruined the franchise no matter what they do. True.
And then last but not least, 2SKO.
This is the elephant in the room.
Basically saying that the tag fighting scene basically needs it because we're not expecting no Tekken Tag 3. Dragon Ball FighterZ is basically dead in the water. And then the long way to Marvel vs. Capcom 4 seems to be hinted at, but there's no clarification or any verification that we're going to get that anytime soon.
Yeah. So I think it's really, I actually like this, by the way. I really like this. I like looking at this game as like the new tag game entry, which I think is the point of this game, right? There's Hunter x Hunter, but I don't think people are that excited for it. So there's definitely a gap with team games, and it will also bring new people. The people who are like, it'll save the FGC. There's no saving the FGC. The thing that saves the FGC is when some of the shit is honestly some of the shit that people complain about, like when new people, preferably younger people in high school and college, are like, this fighting game is cool. My favorite VTuber likes this fighting game. I don't know, fucking Ludwig likes this fighting game. I should play it too. That's the literal shit that keeps the genre alive. There's no one game that does it, right? When people say, I feel like when people say this game will save the FGC, they're usually saying that they think everything else sucks and there will be a game that like hardcore, a real hardcore game, or something about bringing money into the community. Those are usually the main two. But the number one thing that saves the FGC is a fighting game that encourages new people to play. That's by far the most important thing.
When those alphas and those play tests and things were out, it didn't seem like 2SKO made a big enough bang in the FGC for what people are expecting it to be. It didn't feel like it was going to be a savior. It didn't feel like...
Okay, let me put you on game though. Okay, this is very reasonable, by the way. This is not flame. This is actually very reasonable. There's a game you might have heard of called Guilty Gear Strive. Guilty Gear comes out basically like here. Guilty Gear got multiple betas, so once the game actually comes out, the game is fucking blowing up. Like all my shit, this is a little hard to see, but the viewership on this channel and the new people coming to the channel, new subscribers. Every day I'm streaming to like 1K people. Like once people can actually get their hands on the game and the game is like out and done, that's when people actually interact with the game. I can't speak for stuff of like FPS games and MOBAs because I know like other games have long beta cycles and stuff. Like the people who are like haha, everyone who says that 2XKO is gonna save the FGC is wrong. Like no one gave a fuck about the alpha. The alpha was a closed alpha. Like you couldn't even play the game. Basically, you couldn't play the game unless in the the second part of the alpha they gave everybody like extra codes, and then there was like extra codes. But still, like it was pretty much a closed alpha. I would be far more surprised if numbers on the alpha stuff were massive, like massive. I would be like shocked actually. The true test for any new game is two tests. One is the release, and two is 3 months after release. Those are like the two like most important times I think for a fighting game. That's the only like you can't use this alpha to like truly be like this is how the game is gonna be received. You know what I mean?
The state of the games that we have right now and what they're trying to achieve, we're basically at a point where developers are basically coming out and just being honest with you and saying, we're trying to make games that everybody and their mama want to buy. We're trying to make games that...
It's what they always say, by the way.
Everybody wants to play, that anybody can get into it.
That's what they always say.
You even have Virtua Fighter 6. Their producer actually came out and said, we're trying to make Virtua Fighter 6 a game to where it's not too hard for people to learn the fundamentals.
Cannot confirm or deny because I didn't read this.
Fundamentals of fighting games. I mean, the FGC we know is just kind of a place to where people are more so skewing a lot of times to, or let me say this, voices that seem negative seem to be amplified more in the scene than positive voices.
Social media. That's just straight social media, by the way. That's just straight social media. It'd be like that sometimes. It's your fault. No, I'm kidding.
It's games that's coming out that seem like they could have some hope for the future, but it's just at the state we're in now, we're kind of just gonna have to fight through it until we get more games coming in, or the games that we have right now can make some adjustments that make the scene more happy at the same time with what they could possibly do with the games.
Kind of as expected. The long story short is, if you are enjoying the game you're playing, you should just play it. If you don't enjoy it, it's time to boot up a free-to-play RPG. And I wish I had a code for one right now so I could chill it. Maybe spicy take, maybe spicy take, maybe spicy take. But even after 2XKO comes out, and honestly, I am excited for 2XKO to come out. I think there's a lot that can happen in from various ways, both from like playing a fighting game, content stuff, because obviously I like content. It's like one of the main things I do. Potentially meeting new people, engaging with a new group of people, like all that stuff, right? All that stuff's cool. So despite planning on playing that game, I am pretty sure I'm playing an extra year of Guilty Gear. So like where a lot of people are going to drop Guilty Gear, maybe you won't see me like stream it a lot, but I'm going to keep playing it. I actually quite legitimately like Guilty Gear Strive. I like the game. That's all I need, right? I don't need to say extra shit about it. I just like the game. I just like the game. Hopefully we don't start seeing tweets in like 2026 or 2027 about how good we had it in Strive Season 4 and shit. But that's pretty much my summary. You know what I mean? Like, this is like, you gotta have your own fun. If it's really as bad, if you really are feeling as bad as some of like the things you see online, you quite literally need to do something else with your time. Go to the gym, I don't know, fucking learn to play guitar, something that's not this shit. I like it, so I just keep playing, you know? And I mean, I'm in some ways, like, you know, I kind of, there's a couple of games that I struggled through for like the first year or something, but it's mostly because I just like the genre so much that I'm willing to do it. So like if you're like a casual fan of the genre and you're not enjoying a game, you can literally just play something. You're not forced to, you know? Yeah, and that's a good point too, by the way. We have so many choices now, so it's like, why make yourself suffer through something that you don't like? You know what I mean?